Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 37 of the DomJake podcast. I'm just going to get straight to it. I'm your host, Dominic.
And I'm your host, Jake.
This is going to be a very sweet episode. And the reason for that is, well, today we're going to be talking about mostly candy, what it is, how it started, our own stories, and then there's a very special subject that I want to talk about, which was the reason why I even made this episode to begin with. And do you have anything else to say before we dive into this?
I mean, other than the fact that I'll probably be reading a few facts and history stuff and maybe lamenting over some other memories that are kind of associated with candy.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't think we have really an agenda for this one, right? It's just
not really.
Just saying some things about candy and maybe it sticks.
Well, hopefully it doesn't stick too much, because, we'll see.
Peppermint sticks, huh? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're getting a little too minty here, but, yes. I do have the dictionary definition for candy here.
Nice.
Which, well, it's alternatively called sweets or lollies. Candy generally is a confection that features sugar as a principal ingredient, and then there's other cases where there's corn syrup or whatever the sweetener you want. Depends on what your taste is, no pun intended. Which the category, also called sugar confectionery, encompasses any sweet confection, including chocolate, chewing gum, and sugar candy. And then there's cases that just even fruits, which would sometimes be called nature's candy, that the irony here is then they be glazed and coated with sugar, or God knows what other stuff's in there.
Red dye 40, that's that carcinogenic thing that will kill you.
Red number 40. Yep, that sounds just about right. Well, I do have a little bit of history here on my screen that I'm gonna read out here. So it talks about where the word candy came from. So the word candy actually entered the English language from an Old French, let's see, caker candy. Yeah, for anybody that speaks French, correct me here. But the French term probably has earlier roots in the Arabic Gandhi, Persian Quandin. I do not know how to pronounce this.
You're the best host for this.
All right, but can't say I'm not trying here, but sugarcane is indigenous to the tropical South and Southeast Asia. Pieces of sugar were produced by boiling sugarcane juice in ancient India and consumed as khanda. Between the 6th and 4th century BCE, the Persians, followed by the Greeks, discovered the people in India and their reeds that produce honey without bees. They adopted and then spread sugar and sugarcane agriculture. So, this is it's already setting the foundation here. Before sugar was readily available, candy was based on honey. Honey was used in ancient China, the Middle East, Egypt, Greece, and the Roman Empire to coat fruits in flowers to preserve them or to create forms of candy. Candy is still... Yep, and I guess those practices are still, served that way today, Though now is more typically seen as a type of garnish. So essentially not something you would normally eat, but back then that's how it was.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that garnish is meant to just be a side piece. I mean, it's just meant to be an edible decoration.
Oh, I still have a little bit of a tangent with garnishes, but I'm not going to get into that. So we're going to kind of fast forward here to the Industrial Revolution here. Which
factories, steel working, and muscles.
Labor. Well,
getting taken advantage of by the government.
Now let's talk about the 1830s, when the candy business did go under a drastic change by this point when technological advances and the availability of sugar opened up in the market. The new market was not only for the enjoyment of the rich, but also for the pleasure of working class. There was also an increasing market for children. While some fine confectioners remained, the candy store became a favorite of the child of the American working class. Penny candies epitomized its transformation of candy. I guess penny candy became the first material good that children spent their own money on. For this reason, candy store owners relied almost entirely on the business of children to keep them running. Even penny candies were directly descended from medicated lozenges that held bitter medicine in the hard sugar coating.
Lozenges.
Lozenges. Okay. So yep, this is where we started seeing candy stores, which we do have a few of them around here, except they're not standalone stores.
Let's just say it's more common to find a penny on the road than a penny candy store, right?
Yeah, well, except they're in some strip malls of some sort.
But they're also not penny places, though.
No,
You've lost that. We've inflated to, $5 minimum.
Let's fast forward to the next decade, the 1840s. The candy press then became a thing.
Everett with chocolate and the miracle or two. The candy man. Oh, the candy man can, 'cause he makes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Yeah.
Who can take the rainbow?
The candy man.
Wrap it in a sign. Smoke it in the sun, make a groove and pie. The candy man. The candy man. Oh, the
Candy man. Well,
I just had to.
Well, I mean, the candy man here also we probably invented the candy press in 1847.
I can be depressed.
Well, the candy press shouldn't make you depressed. It should make you impressed with the amount of sugar that makes you energetic. But the candy press, though, did make it possible to produce multiple shapes and sizes of candy at once. So no more like manually carving out candy. Now, 1851, the confectioners began to use a revolving steam pan to assist in boiling sugar. This transformation meant that the candy maker was no longer required to continuously stir the boiling sugar, meaning you probably don't need background knowledge about candy. They tell you what to do. We just have a whole factory here. This transformation meant that the candy, yep, already read that part.
Yep.
The heat of the surface of the pan was also much more evenly distributed and made it less likely the sugar would burn. These innovations made it possible for only one or two people to successfully run a candy business. And at least this is where we needed. This is where, I guess, a lot of these mainstream companies, the Mars and, Hershey's, and also, not to mention, over the years, acquisitions were made. So these smaller companies were bought by probably this company, and then you probably get the rest from there. Yep. So let's go to 1885. And then an 1885 cover cartoon for Puck Joseph Kepler satirized the dangers of additives in candy by depicting the mutual friendship between stripped candy, doctors, and gravediggers. By 1906, research into the dangers of additives, exposés of the food industry, and public pressure led to the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act, the first federal United States law to regulate food and drugs, including candy. So I'm guessing this is like the FDA.
The Food and Drug Administration.
So this is just like a brief history of how candy became a thing.
I could provide some more like historical things, I guess, towards you. I'm not gonna get as into it as you did. Like, I don't have dates. Well, I guess technically I have a time period which you could do the homework yourself.
No, but you can. No, I'll let you then talk about the facts that you gathered
Yeah, I can
as well.
mention a few of them. So during the World War II, there was actually something that the United States Army Air Forces developed called Ration D, or the D ration, which is essentially a chocolate bar that's resistant to high temperatures for paratroopers during World War II. Is replaced due to its unappetizing taste, though, with another substance. I could be wrong about it. I think it was the origin of Hershey, maybe. I really could be
Could be
fudging
wrong.
up. I could be fudging up the data a little bit in my mind, but World War II had quite a bit of candy development and historical achievements, as you were actually mentioning a little bit before, that same general time period. Another thing, though, I'm going to ask you a question. Uh,
Hmm.
have you heard of the Berlin candy bomber?
I've heard bits and pieces. No pun intended. Actually,
Yeah,
pun was intended.
you've heard Bitso honey or whatever, right? Yeah.
Or
Uh,
pieces of like Oreo like crumbles, but
well, actually, our cookies candy. We could put a pin on that. We could visit that later, maybe. But
okay, but what's this? What's the candy bomber thing about?
so Gail Halvorson, also known as the Berlin Candy Bomber, or in some other sources, the Chocolate Pilot, developed candy parcels that are attached to handkerchief parachutes for children during the Berlin airlift after World War II, lifting spirits of children through difficult times. Of course, maybe some adults were grabbing some too, right? But
Well, there's got to be some positivity. So,
just like imagining your backyard basically being a battleground, right? Your whole
hmm
community being disheveled and maybe some missiles that haven't gone off are just in your backyard, or maybe they did go off and you lost everything except for your life, right?
hmm
Just all the devastation. Thinking about looking up a parachute. Oh, geez, look at these colorful handkerchiefs being thrown down. Oh, geez, what's this attached to it? It's not a bombshell. It's a hard shell candy or something, right? Like,
like a jawbreaker.
yeah, maybe back then,
Oh
but
yeah.
just the idea. Um, so I did say that was Gal Halverson, but he's obviously not the only one who did it. Many people after him kind of were inspired a little bit. There was a children's book that was read to my fifth or fourth grade class or something. So
hmm
I did know about the chocolate bomber for quite a bit, but just the idea of it is very impressive.
Sounds pretty impressive.
Would you like me to get into specific candies?
Uh,
Maybe.
why not? This is a whole episode about candy. Let's dive right into the jar and talk about it.
I'll go into a little bit of some of the stuff you already said that I wrote down was yes, honey has been enjoyed since prehistoric times. Just literally eating the bee's juice, the bee's wax from fresh from the hive, right?
Yep.
Because that alone is sweet enough. It's, I mean, if you haven't done so, just take a lick of honey, right? That's a sweet time as it is, but for a while, honey was like the thing that people would use. But also, like you said, they would combine them with fruits, nuts, or even various spices to create different treats and of the
Yeah.
such. Of course, sugar is also something that is sweet.
Yes.
So the Chinese in ancient China, they had some Chinese sugar art, and they featured intricate sugar sculptures and candy figurines that have been carved by skilled artisans. You know the idea of like a sugar cube, right?
I've seen those book plenty of times before. It's like I'm
Well,
curious as to how they actually got that shape.
imagine it's not just a cube. Imagine it might be a little horse or something. I don't
Mm.
know, just a little thing, or like a statue of a ballerina that you put in your tea and it just disappears anyway, right? Like
It's just
something.
like it's like dissolves.
Just, just various different, let's call it sugar art, because that's what it is. You should look some of the carvings up when you get the chance. It's a lot of
Yeah.
this, assuming that this is actual, real, like Google image stuff.
I'm,
Imagining that this is real, it looks pretty nice.
I might want to even look up YouTube videos about this stuff too.
Yeah, some ancient Chinese sugar
All right.
carvings. But to get into, I guess, a little bit more of the Middle Eastern aspect, the Middle East has a rich tradition of sweets like Turkish delight, halva, and baklava, often featured nuts, honey, and spices. There's also the Japanese wagashi. Traditional Japanese confections are made from ingredients like rice flour, sweet beans, or anko, and agar agar, often shaped and decorated with intricate designs. There's Latin American stuff, uh,
Mm. So it's like they all got their own origins or their own twists on it.
like Mexican dulces, Peruvian chicha morada, and Brazilian brigadeiros. There's European marzipan, which is made of ground up almonds and sugar. It's been in Europe since the Middle Ages, often shaped into figurines or used to decorate cakes. And there's also Native American maple candy. The people that the white people, tried to kick out of their own nation, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
people. Uh, Actually, be more
Maple
specific
can
than that. The
maple candy, huh?
Americas. So indigenous peoples of North America used to make maple candy by boiling down the maple sap to create maple syrup and then further cooking it. So then more of the liquid starts to solidify. And
Mm. Honestly, it's
that
like
could just be a
makes me
neat
think.
experiment for you.
Honestly, these could be stuff that I could if I got the knowledge of, I could probably make this myself. But I think I'm far from ready to actually do these things.
Well,
But they also
something to note, because I have physically made actual candy before. Most of the time, something goes wrong, and sugar is. If you think baking is easy to mess up, candy making is easy to mess up. Like candy making takes it to the next level, man.
mm,
Like,
makes you reach your boiling point, right?
no, serious. I mean, well, I don't exactly get frustrated. It's just sweet but wrong. That's what ends up happening with a lot of the candies. It is easy to burn because sugar, finicky business. Like I have made
There's
butterscotch before.
that's
Those
cool. Is
old
that
people hard candies.
mm, how about
Speaking
those
of
circus peanuts that is just a marshmallowy?
speaking of butterscotch, though, butterscotch is believed to have originated in Scotland during early 19th century, and it gained popularity in the United States during the 19th century as well.
Hmm.
Um,
All right.
Tootsie Rolls were included in soldiers' rations during World War II, due to their durability and resistance to melting. That
Hmm.
is something. Tootsie Rolls, they are hard to melt. They're often the last ones to
Hmm.
actually start melting, right? Warheads, the intensely sour candies. I guess you could also call them jawbreakers, kind of, but they originated in Taiwan in 1975 before being introduced to the U.S. in the 80s.
Hmm.
Peppermint candies, such as sticks and discs, became popular in the 19th century and were often used to freshen breath or aid digestion.
Hmm. So if you have any like digestion problems, you go to the Dollar Tree and pick up some peppermint.
Well,
Or
I mean, to an extent, that would probably help, but honestly,
maybe
with every disease out there, every ailment, probably just you know get some fresh air and get some exercise in, and then get some water in your system. That's probably like half of it right there.
well, I think it's mostly for the taste when they sell it now. Maybe, but do you got any other candies?
And nothing that I looked up and whatever, but I do have one more fact. Well, not really one more fact, but
But
more of an more of a anecdote that I would actually kind of want to mention a little bit after. So you could continue down your path.
all right, so we got a little bit of the history and facts done. Um, the one thing I'm gonna kind of go on is, in our own words, why do people enjoy candy despite their lack of nutritional value? Well, I think the one major thing people like is like actually not just one thing, but I think there's like mostly two reasons why. One of them is, well, the taste of candy, because hey, you don't kids don't like their vegetables; they like the taste of like sugar and red number 40. And you know what? We I was also a kid like that too. You know, I'm sure most of us as kids really liked candy, and every time we passed the aisles, we were like, "I want that, please." Um, yeah, that's another reason. One of the reasons why. I think another reason why people may also like it is, well, when it comes to sugar, well, you might have some energy in you, and which is the term sugar rush. And we're not talking about the game from Wreck It Ralph. Uh, Essentially, it's like a short-term version of caffeine. You know, sugar. You have the quick amount of energy, running like flash, and then you get tired. In one way to look at it, it's kind of like a kid's drug.
Funny you mentioned that because there is actual credence to that statement. It's not just a surface level. I like the flavor, so it makes my day a little bit better. There's actually the endorphins in you.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, it's more or less, it is like a drug where it just attaches itself to dopamine or the thing that makes you happy. What's that one called?
Serotonin.
Serotonin. Yeah, it actually helps with serotonin and stuff like that too. Um,
I mean, if you look at it that way, sure. Though,
Physically, it does make people happy. Of course, some people don't like, specific flavors, but that's just a flavor thing. In general, I would say even if they didn't like a flavor, I think technically they might be inclined to still have those endorphins
mhm.
being improved. That might be an interesting thing. Just get people to only eat the candies that they don't like,
just
but
for just so they're
see if they can still feel happy.
just so there's light at the end of the tunnel.
No, I mean like
Well, okay.
just to see if there's still a benefit, or if the I don't know detriments outweigh the benefits, maybe. Where it's like, oh, I didn't like this thing. It doesn't matter that it's attacking my endorphins. I'm still having a crummy day. That could be a neat experiment that we might be able to do. But
Yeah. Um, I think. Well, I don't know. People. I guess sure it makes them happy. It's like, oh, your kid has a tantrum, get him a Snickers bar. But I don't know. It's just crazy though to think that really like candy of all things makes you happy. I mean, like any food item, though, like really candy is also good in moderation. Despite there's no vitamin D, vitamin B, vitamin XYZ, but
But
people
there
still like
is
it.
vitamin RED4D.
And then vitamin number 40. But all jokes aside though, but it's like, yeah, people like it. I would say mainly for those two reasons. I could definitely be wrong, but
Honestly, there's just also a nostalgic factor too. Like
yep, I
if
would say
you
so.
go if you go to like, your I don't know, your grandparents' house, it'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you butterscotch every single time I see you." And then suddenly you're gonna be walking like 50 years later, walking down the candy aisle, then you'll be like, "I think I want some butterscotch," or "I think I want to give butterscotches out to my grandchildren," or whatever, whatever.
Um,
But sometimes that cycle continues, and it's like there's the familiar bond.
Although
It's just,
probably by the time you're like probably like at an age, I'm sure since then when you were a kid, the ingredients might have changed a little bit, either for the good or for the worse, or because it's cheaper now to use this ingredient instead of this ingredient. Oftentimes when they do that, they'll also try to keep the taste the same. Speaking of the whole nostalgia, we do have a little segment which talks about, well, we talk about our own personal candy experiences, whether we ate tons of candy or just every once in a while. I'm going to talk about, I guess, my experiences with candy. I never went too crazy, but there are some candies that I do like over the years. One of them had to have been, I guess, Jolly Ranchers, specifically the non-citrus flavors.
oh, you baby.
So I am a baby, but you know what? I don't
No,
care.
that's fine. More citrus for me then.
Yep. Hey, that's why it's there. It's for everybody. And there's a very popular candy that's been around for a while that still is made today. That lately I've been having a craving for, and that candy is called Pop Rocks,
Oh, interesting.
which I guess they infuse it with little hard candies with carbon dioxide. That's from what I heard.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
They're actually really good candy, and I remember the first time I tried them was like 14 years ago at this local bowling alley, which is no longer with us.
Do you know the exact time?
I guess with tastes and things, there's memories linked to each other.
It was just a formative memory for you. It's your core.
But yes, that is, I do remember trying Pop Rocks for the first time around the time Toy Story 3 came out.
And there I was, young man. It was 14 years ago on December 20th, 1478.
Were you riding your horses in one horse open sleigh?
I was there with Jesus marching down.
Mm, mm.
Uh,
He sounds like a good guy to me, though. But
well, he died for. We don't need to get
I don't want
religious.
to. No, but we're not going to get religious. But yeah, no. But this candy, I mean, did have its concept patented back in 1961. Research chemists were Leon T. Yep. I'm not going to get into the whole history here, but it got popular in the 1970s, and then since then, it's become a staple. Another popular thing I liked was the cookies and cream Hershey's bar. There's just been too many candies to choose from, but I do like Skittles, which I've had that before.
You can't like something if you haven't had it before, right?
Of course, right.
I like Skittles, but I've never had them
So then, okay,
before.
so I have to try the Skittles then.
No, oh, I have had them. Are
I
you
know.
kidding me?
I know. I'm just messing around, but do you have any certain memories linking with candy?
I mean, yeah. I did mention the butterscotch sort of memories before, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
there was a candy dish that was not necessarily given to everybody every single time, but you had free range of it, right? It's like, can grab one, but I didn't have to, or sometimes we were rushed out and I didn't have a chance to grab it, stuff like that. I am probably one of the people who not necessarily are keeping them afloat, but who would still enjoy those old people candies, right? The
Um,
ones that you would think, oh, that's my grandmother, or who's buying this when you walk by? I might.
there are certain candies that even I think my mom also used to like those. It's like marshmallow circus peanuts, which I'm shocked they're still around today, but it's cool though. The butterscotch, they're good, I'm sure.
I mean, frickin' M&Ms in general. My favorite is the pretzel filled ones, but um, for a long time since I was maybe 5 or something, going to Walt Disney World, and there is a confectionery store there that
Mm,
had every single color of M&Ms that you could possibly do. And so every single time that we went, which was pretty much yearly or every other year or something like that,
mm-hmm.
um, for a good 15 years, I wanted a bag of rainbow M&Ms, every single color. Doesn't matter if it's the classic red, orange, yellow, brown, blue, green
Mm-hmm.
bag, but
So yeah.
it also included the silver, pastel pink,
Mm-hmm.
all the other things that were possible. I would do like, a 1 second pump, like of every single color. So that means like, I don't know, 5 of every single color that I got.
There we go.
it was
That's
it's
pretty cool.
it's one of those things where it's like I never really enjoyed the parks, but there were some aspects that I actually did uh, seek out.
Yeah.
It's fun revisiting that, honestly, because last few times I haven't really done that because it's, let's face it, it's inflation nation, right?
Right. Yeah.
That same bag that I would have been able to like last for a month, I couldn't even get half of that for the same price, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's but inflation is obviously a different thing, but it does impact the candy, the universe, I guess technically, if you can't get a penny candy anymore and it's
So
at
now
least $5, right?
it's
Like,
now a dollar candy, not even a dollar candy.
yeah, it's honestly like a $5 candy, really. I like the Smartie stuff. I like I like Necco wafers too. Yeah.
Like most candies nowadays, like when I was an adult, much candy like I used to, but it's still something. If it's something I really, really like, I'll still get it today.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
it's not something that you'll actively like search out, but for me personally, and it might be easy to see this by now because uh for those of you who aren't aware, we did our first seeing us in real life sort of skit.
mhm,
It has nothing to do with candy, I don't
it
think.
does not at all have it. In fact, it has to do with, well, yeah,
It has to do with lettuce and eggs, right?
yeah, it's literally the opposite of candy. Actually, health things, but
Probably,
actually, it's like
but since you have seen us in real life, or I guess you have the opportunity to have seen us in real life, imagine me, the guy who was on the right. side saying this, but there are times where I would go to like a candy aisle and just I get in the zone. It's like I have to get these.
Hmm.
I can't say no sometimes.
Yep. Lately, it's kind of like me with the Pop Rocks. Whenever I go to like Five Below, I want to snatch up the strawberry flavor. They're pretty good.
Are you a person who would ever like go to, let's say, a candy store, grab a new candy you've never heard of, and just hammer it, just use it, just try it?
Usually, I think it's
Or
the
do you only go for the things that you only know, right?
it's kind of the same thing with restaurants, but usually, okay, the first time I'll go to a store, I'll try something, and if I really like it, I'll go back and get the same thing.
But if you found out that you really like something else that they have, but you're
Then,
only getting the one thing,
then I'll try that new thing.
but you
But
can't try it if you're only getting the other.
but I don't know. But I have been to candy stores as well. We have two of them that I know of. Like they're in like strip malls. Let's just say that. But
Honestly, I don't go to like candy stores. I was just kind of saying that as just a
but
thing
I've
to say, kind of like the buffet thing that I brought up to you before. Like the buffet, a chef that can make anything. This time it's a candy buffet with every single thing in the world. You would only have a selection of like 5 things that you already know about.
something that I would never ever get at a like store like down the road.
Chocolate covered cherry. Would you do that?
Yes, I would do that.
You'd do that.
I
I mean,
also there was also one other thing that I've had too. That's also got it's chocolate covered espresso beans.
personally, my go-to for those would be the chocolate covered raisins or the chocolate covered blueberries and acai from Brookside, not sponsored.
I don't even think they're fruit, but it's still good. Those are still
Oh,
good.
acai is. Are you
No,
kidding me?
acai's yeah, no, but are also good. The Brookside stuff. Hershey's, we've all know about that. There's even a park for it apparently in Pennsylvania.
Have you ever been?
I have never been there before.
I have been there. Technically twice, but only one time in my memory because I think I was very little, like the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was so excited whenever I went through the second time around because they have this thing, right, where you could stand right next to like a measuring thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that would tell you your height, right?
It's like a
Um,
roller coaster sort of thing.
well, it's not a roller coaster thing. It's for something else, right? But if you were over the height of this height, you would get a Hershey Kiss. If you were over the height of this one, you would get another thing that was Hershey related. And then something else, something else, something else. I was so close to getting the one that I wanted. But of course, my height didn't reach that one. I was like an inch under what I wanted to get. So instead, I got the thing that I least wanted to get. And I was so disappointed at that.
Wow.
But I technically did some child labor for free for the Hershey Company, technically.
Uh,
And I was paid in Hershey chocolates, in Hershey Kisses. Like actually, really, there is a photo of me as a chocolate worker.
okay.
That's an
I, wa-
experience for every child out there. Go
I
to
want to I want to see this
Hershey
in
Park.
person.
Go to. I actually just ran into the gave us the chocolates, right? The Hershey
Hmm.
Kisses inside this little brown. It looks like a gear,
Hmm.
right? That's the whole gimmick. It was like the Hershey factory have a gear filled with chocolate, right? Here's the chocolate gear for you, or the cog, whatever you want to call it. We did into it because I was printing out an application um, for somewhere, So I needed to, I had to put more paper into the printer. And in my search for paper, I found the Hershey container again.
Mm-hmm.
I think inside it might be like the ID that I had. Maybe.
I don't know. But,
Like there's a picture of me like in like the you've seen Willy Wonka, right? The original
yes, I have actually recently.
original
No, I
so
did. No, I did see it though before I did see the new one.
so the you can imagine like the paper hats, right? That
Yeah.
like a factory worker would have. Yeah, you remember that? There's a picture of like 7 or 6 year old me or something like paper hat with I want to say maybe an apron. I don't know if I did have one, but it's very interesting. I would definitely think about going back there again, but it's another thing where it's like a small Disney World, right? It's just like there might be a thrill ride, there might be a I don't know slow ride, there might be a
God knows
something
what.
else, but the whole point of it pretty much is look at these candies. Buy a anthropomorphic chocolate bar plush or buy a shirt that says Hershey's. Buy all of the chocolate, things like that.
Have some candy.
I'm full candy.
Well, I'm sorry, I
This
do
is
not.
the guy with glasses. Good one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we can
But
take you. You're talking about King Candy, right?
well, King Candy's also a scammer.
Not even King Candy.
He's
He's
not.
Turbo.
He went turbo. That's where the term came from. But
No,
yes, he was.
it's not he went Turbo. He was
I
Turbo.
know. I know. I
Because
remember.
he
Yeah.
left the game and
He's
recoded it
tur.
to make
But
him
that's
the
where the term.
king.
That's where the term going turbo came from. He left
Turbo-tastic. Turbo-tastic. But,
turbo. Yeah. But
something else that I wanted to mention. You familiar with any of the Cartoon Network shows?
I'm familiar with it. Specifically, the ones like I guess when we were kids.
You've heard of the show The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, right?
Okay. So yeah, I had to have.
Well, one of the plot lines of that show is Flapjack and Captain Knuckles really want to visit an island that is made of candy. It's called
Mm,
Candied Island.
mm,
But now who needs Candied Island? It's safer at the docks.
I
Right?
don't know, but
And then Larry, the owner of the candy store there, the Candy Barrel, he has
mm,
a candy wife. Just
that
a lady made out of candy. Not even alive. It's like a mannequin.
I'm just
Like
thinking
candy.
of reminds me of the whatever that little Shrek short from like Halloween special when like Gingy had a I guess cookie girlfriend made by the Muffin Man or something, and then she came alive. In this case, this candied wife didn't come alive. Still, I don't know. I haven't watched that show in a while. That you brought up Willy Wonka a little while ago because the big reason why I thought about this episode is because I want to talk about an event that happened not long ago, which maybe in the internet world it was quite a long time ago, but in
It was
linear
decades
time,
ago, man.
yeah, but in the linear time world, it is not that long ago. I guess this was supposed to be a Willy Wonka chocolate experience, though, all the way in Glasgow, but
So
nope,
not Mr. Beast. Okay.
nope. Sorry, Mr.
I
Beast.
thought it was the Willy Wonka thing that he did to jumpstart his candy thing.
Sorry, Jimmy. Um, we're not talking about you right now, but there is this, I guess, event that happened in Glasgow. Honestly, if you look up pictures of it, it almost looks like a children's birthday party, honestly, with just kind of has like backdrops of just like Candyland stuff. Not Candyland, but you know what I mean.
I'm gonna do a blind reaction right now,
But
because I think it would be neat to actually get a blind reaction here. So
so
let
I'll
me
talk.
type in Glasgow.
Okay, while you type that in, I'm gonna then talk a little more about this like scammy event here.
It's the fourth suggested one.
So yes, this might go up your alley because you've talked about this before. The whole event, you would think there would have been more effort put into this thing to promote the new Wonka movie, but this whole event was AI generated chat GPT. Didn't even do much research about this. They just slapped the name Willy Wonka. They just did some AI. Oh, have a picture of this Candyland thing. Then it shows some very odd, the most odd picture I've ever seen. Some sentient candies and stuff. A guy who had to act in the event even spoke up about this at the end, on a like Zoom like call thing, talking about what he had to do. I don't even think the people even got paid.
Oh no, it's the unknown.
That wasn't even part of the original Willy Wonka franchise, and they
It's
just.
just something AI made up.
If you watch the video, that some of the kids were frightened by it.
The kids actually went to this.
They paid for it.
I thought it was like just something for like a TikTok thing or something.
No, not even
We
close.
have a TikTok, you can follow it, but we're not doing daily posts anymore.
Yep, follow it
So
anyways.
cool.
Follow it anyways, but
What the
literally,
shit?
I
We could
wouldn't
do
even.
better than that.
This honestly,
Honestly,
if we had our own event,
can't.
maybe
Maybe we can't.
I
No,
don't know, but
we can't do better than this.
I don't think.
Those lollipops look amazing.
Well, as long as we have permission from forgot the company who made the movie, like Warner Brothers. Whoever.
That's nice.
If we had a licensed event, I think we could do better than Glasgow's.
If anything, we would need the funding though, because let's face it, not with our money.
Yep. No, but this whole event is literally something that we could probably do, but at least put a little more effort in.
Like, I'll be honest, I heard of this on like a podcast that I listened to. I wanted to actually learn it from you, but I couldn't turn it off because they were put it right. Um, Unfortunately, I didn't learn about it from you, but I didn't see anything from it
Hey,
until
look,
now.
here's another picture of it. It's like, okay, these props are. This looks like they're not bad, but at the same time, this looks like the set for the Monsters Inc. If you ever walked in the big hallway and they just put like mushrooms and lollipops and candy canes
It's
in front of
probably
a
where
whistle.
it's like the props themselves are probably okay, but it's just the fact that you could probably see right behind it. It's just a warehouse or something.
I think the props look better than the actual event itself.
Hey, Halloween this year, everybody's gonna be the unknown. Mark my words.
I could definitely say that. But here's another thing I am looking about this. It says, yep, they do apologize. They did eventually get the cops called about this event. They actually did call the cops.
Because of
And
course they did.
they did give refunds from what I heard. Yep, and the guy went, oh, it's the unknown. Yeah, he had to bring this up, do a video about it. He had to read 16-page AI script to memorize in like less time. Like probably took less than 24 hours to memorize everything.
Because honestly, it's not really the actor's fault.
No.
It's none of the actors' faults. They were just like hired to do something. It's really the people behind the scenes. But
But
holy moly.
they did actually get refunds though, but I kind of want to find. Oh, there's this one picture that is being memed to death. This lady, it looks like Dexter's laboratory. She looks all depressed in this photo.
Oh no.
She had to give out little candies to the kids. There was no chocolate involved.
It's the factory. Are you kidding
This ain't the chocolate factory. This is the shock factory.
me? Shock a lot factory.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know this place looks like Monsters Inc., but they were not trying to. We didn't mean to actually scare the kids with the unknown.
That's sad.
I mean, it's definitely sad, but
It's
oh
like
my god,
it's like I mean
they. I mean, I know that AI is getting good, but come on, this is the worst example for it.
the thing is, okay. Here's gonna be a hot take. I kind of maybe mentioned it a little bit with our AI part one, and maybe it's part one, or maybe it's the standalone thing, and we'll never do an AI thing again. We'll probably do an AI thing again. Let's be honest, but here's my take, right? To me, it is a tool. It is not the end all be all. It is not the thing where it's like, oh, just write me a book, Chat GPT. I'm just gonna copy paste it, take the credit. It's not that. It's you wrote a book. You are maybe wanting it to analyze it for maybe grammatical errors. It's great for that because it will tell you more times than not. Of course, it's still kind of new. And I also don't have the pro version, I'm just using the free version. As a tool, it isn't, it hypothetically is not bad.
No,
It's just people can do with it and how they will use it. Because what this is, as a whole, at least the 3.5, which is the free version, I don't know about the pro version. Maybe it does more, maybe it does less. Why would it do less if it's more, if it's pro? Whatever. But the thing about that is, it only does what you put in, pretty much. It write me something about Willy Wonka. It will be. In actual case, it added characters, but the thing is, you are supposed to use it as a user to maybe find spelling mistakes, maybe find grammatical errors. Maybe you think your fifth paragraph down is worded kind of oddly and it doesn't flow. Make some suggestions as to how I can fix it. Not write me this whole thing. I'm to make it function better.
But yeah,
just write this whole thing and I'm going to take credit for it. Because it trains as like a model, like it's like a training model sort of thing, right? It learns by having things input, right? Having things input to it. Especially if we talk about the art stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The image generation is usually done without the artist in consent.
Right.
Usually it's just taken and train this model based off of these artworks. The something on Twitter, Midjourney is an art generation service, I guess you could call it, but an AI, right? An AI service program Program. Yeah, program.
I don't know, but it's
And
like,
on Twitter, somebody shared a list of every single artist that was used to train stuff. A lot of the artists that I follow are on that list. A lot of old Newgrounds people, a lot of older YouTube animators, a lot of the
mhm.
more popular, maybe modern day TikTok stars who animate or draw or whatever. Even even things like Butch Hartman style stuff, I think is in there because it's just easy to. My stuff's not going to be in there because let's face it, my art is not popular.
Uh,
All day be used as such. It's not meant to be a end all be all. You write this whole movie for me. I'm not even going to tell you if you did anything wrong. You just do it for me. That's not what you do.
but it looks like in this case of this event, they
That's what.
really, yeah, but this time it costed them like police resources. And it's just like sad of. Imagine us being like us as kids right now, 20 years ago, and they're doing this thing, or like if this was now, if we had AI 20 years ago and we were that demographic.
Oh God, if we had AI 20 years ago, 20 years later, right now, we would have flying cars.
Sure, yeah, AI made cars.
We would have force fields around our house to keep things out.
There we go, perfect. But yeah, I was like, while this is somewhat semi-relevant, I want to bring this up. It's like still such a crazy thing that happened.
I wonder if you could craft the Wonka experience on Infinite Craft.
Maybe, but or we could do our own better take on it one day.
Hey, I don't know about that.
We just don't have that kind of budget right now.
Not even that. I don't know if I'd want to do something with Wonka stuff because the Wonka movie came out
Hmm.
recently. By time on it, I don't know, 5 years later. That might be generous. I don't know.
Unless,
Maybe,
uh,
maybe you're still a barista. And maybe I'm still a janitor by then.
who knows?
Or
Yeah,
maybe you're in Bangladesh by then.
who know? Yeah, maybe, or in Scotland. Maybe I'm over there and they're where they were. Maybe,
Whatever.
yeah, which is where Glasgow is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that whole event and
Well,
how
we
you.
ended it.
No, we're not. No, no, not yet. But I'm just like, it's just like I wonder if anyone else here listening has ever heard of this. I'm sure you have, but I want to know what the thoughts are because it's hilarious, but also sad at the same time.
I think it would be something else. Okay, let's pick your brain about this one then. And I promise this isn't going to be another hour-long interview thing. um, let's pick your brain about this. Um, what could have been done differently to have made what happened better?
I
If
think
you understand the question.
if they just did not even have like if they didn't have to rely on the AI or Chat GPT, if this was a if they just had a license like a agreement for this event, I think it would have been a lot better.
Okay, so this is assuming that they have the license, they have the proper authority to use the name Wonka, the name whoever, the name Charlie, whatever, right? And the actual names Oompa Loompas, right? This is assuming they have that stuff. What if the set deck still like that? What if the writing was the same wording, but somebody actually wrote it instead of like a program, right? Just a
Yeah.
bad writer
Okay, so they
who
could
didn't
have
read the source. Like if it
if
actually
yeah.
turned out the same way, but would it be better it was done as like a church thing or like a school thing? Like, of
If this
course,
was
this isn't gonna be great because it's done by an elementary school or something,
well,
right?
yeah, of course. Well, see, if it was that, okay, they have they have more of an excuse for that, but I don't know. It's cool. This is a legitimate thing that happened. If they were
You
just
say legitimate.
if this okay, if there was a life agreement, if there was actual people that wrote this event, um, existent,
The unknown.
one could assume that this could just be its own separate thing, not tied into any of the movies. This could just be its own separate event. This is not tied to Wonka, not tied to Charlie and Chocolate Factory. This is not tied to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is its own, it's like special event made specifically for this. Then
This
okay,
be the sidebar.
this could be sure, but but man, it's at the same time. But the thing is, reality-wise, they used AI here, and
Which
oh,
said, my opinion, it's okay to use it. It's not okay to abuse it.
sure, yeah, yeah,
It's a tool. It's not. It's not the.
all be all,
It's not the co-writer, right?
yeah. So we do not endorse anybody to use this for any of their school projects.
Or
Let's
you
just
know what? If you did a presentation about like the Wonka experience as like your language arts class or something,
I think this
that'd be cool.
I would have loved to write about this if this was like 6 years ago.
Oh my God, just imagining. Okay, in 10 years, right? What if we were in 10th grade 10 years from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagining maybe there's like an AI club
Who knows?
or just a class. It's like you get an A plus because you coded. You asked AI to give you an A plus because
Perfect.
uh,
That they're gonna be getting some I could just see a competition happening with this whole teachers and the AI.
it's already becoming a thing, right? Um, but there are some things I don't know how accurate they are because I don't have the money to try them. But there are services that apparently you can copy and paste, an essay somebody wrote, and it would tell you there's a 95% chance that this is AI. But that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing, chance, right? It's not a guarantee this is the AI one because somebody messed around with the Declaration of the United States, right? Somebody put the wording of that into those AI checkers, and they were like, "There's a strong chance this is AI." It's like, no, it's not. This is a document that's like 250 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, unless if we had time traveling founding fathers, maybe, but
Time traveling.
it's like they knew about AI and they used ChatGPT from 2024 and brought it back to the foundation of the nation.
If we didn't have I'm just thinking like they did not have robots back then, so yeah, but I don't know.
But they all wore
Turns out
powdered wigs, right? All of the presidents wore powdered wigs up until a certain point. And that point is because they finally decided to take out AI from their brains. They had to hide it under the powdered wigs because to normal people,
there you
that looked
go.
like a normal hairstyle. But to them and to their wives, spouses, and family members, their
Yeah,
brains were metallic.
Oh, whoa.
Conspiracy episodes. No.
Yeah, no, but yeah, but still, it's like the whole thing is like, yeah, like we mentioned, AI is getting scared by the second. But
It's getting cooler. It's getting not cooler. It's getting scary. It's getting
once
fascinating.
once
It's getting funny.
think for
It's
the
getting
next
serious. It's getting everything.
You think for the next election we're gonna have AI president?
AI president would get shit done. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't know. But this is like the reason why I had this episode planned, because it's like this was a. It's like I could not talk about this, but I don't know. This is, I would say, what would the future be of candy? Do you think? I mean, we already. I guess
Ooh.
there's been attempts. Here's an example. If Auntie Anne's has supposedly like not Auntie Anne's, no, but
The
there's
pretzel
like
company.
no, not Auntie Anne, not that pretzel companies, but let's see. There's the little gummy. They have like, I guess, not health conscious, but they're, I guess, organic gummies. But I guess we're more of like natural flavorings, more natural candies, even though there's no such thing as a natural candy unless we're talking watermelons and other fruits.
Well,
But
I mean, honey, right? Like, and then maple sap, right? Like, that's
yeah.
sweet stuff. Right?
So like right now, yep, we do have Annie's homegrown organic bunny fruit snacks. Maybe we'll start seeing more of stuff like this where there's no artificial flavorings. The coloring comes from fruit juices.
Yeah. Something. Oh, ooh. Actually,
While we
a
still
a future thing that I could possibly see. Um, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I thought you were done. Are you done? Or
actually I was gonna probably say one more thing, but it's like I said, we're probably gonna have more things like this. Well, meanwhile, for any of those who don't for any of those who still like the unhealthy candies, of course, we'll still have that as an option.
right, they'll probably be cheaper than the healthier options, right?
Of course, but
Good old
doesn't
capitalism.
right. What else were we gonna talk about?
Yeah, like a future that I could possibly see is tied to another thing. So let's put a pin in the future stuff. Have you heard of the guy Nile Red?
Not before.
He's basically a Canadian chemist, right? And he does videos about like I made the purest cookie, right? Like where you got lab safe sugar, right? And then like lab quality egg substitute. So it's like the purest thing, meaning it doesn't have any external substances, no additional red 40s or no additional other things. But something that I saw that he did the other day was he made cinnamon hearts. You ever heard of those?
Cinnamon hearts.
Cinnamon hearts.
Is it like cinnamon? Is it like a heart-shaped cinnamon candy?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. But he made them out of styrofoam cups because better because he's a chemist, but the base structure for cinnamaldehyde, which is something that tastes pretty close to cinnamon, right? It's a cinnamon flavoring substance that you can make. Cinnamaldehyde matches pretty closely with the structure of or with a chemical that is in styrofoam.
Styrofoam.
So he turned styrofoam cups into cinnamon hearts.
The
He's
question.
done this sort of thing with like rubber gloves into like grape soda.
I don't. It does not sound appetizing by any
No,
means.
but the thing is, with science and chemistry, he was able to do it, and it tastes, pretty much like cinnamon because of the base structures.
Is it edible?
Match so close. Yeah, he ate them. He likes them.
I don't know.
His styrofoam
Yeah, I heard that.
concoction is edible.
If he didn't, I think if nobody told me there was styrofoam in there, okay, I probably would have eaten it.
But the thing is, you don't know what like Hershey's is giving you. It might be the styrofoam and rubber glove mix.
The ingredient list doesn't lie.
I mean,
Who knows? Who
the
knows?
thing is, if the thing tastes pretty much like something else, it could lie. It could
Maybe.
be like, well, it tastes exactly like it did last week, and so this week it's probably not different. Whereas this week it actually has like crushed up, I don't know, seashells in it
Yeah.
to bind to like the wood shavings that are also in it. So like it's actually seashells and wood grains instead of like an Oreo.
Yeah.
No, but if you have the chance, even if somebody's like looking or listening to this right now, anybody
Yeah.
out there, I would definitely recommend Nile Red. Is a He's a beast, man. He's great. Like he also does, more of the other types of chemistry stuff. Like he he made purple gold, right? He
Yeah.
wanted a purple gold, which is a very hard thing to make. It's very rare, and it's like the expensive gold. It's more to the like usual stuff because it's trickier to do, and a lot of mistakes can be made. Um, well, he made his own hot sauce out of. I think that was also a rubber glove one, but like, look, you can technically eat anything. That's
Yeah.
probably why people have these strange addictions.
That
Okay,
makes sense.
big thing. Revisiting the pan. I think the future of candy would actually look like that. In an environmental way to try to cut down on different plastics, on different wastes. I think it's going to be less money to clean off these things that would originally go in the garbage
Yeah.
and turn them into something else
Here we
that
go.
you can eat.
There you go. Perfect.
I kid you not. Go into it with an open mind. Watch things like Nile Red. He is I said the beast. The thing, he talks in such a monotone voice where it's very easy. It's very easy to replicate his voice, and it's actually him.
2 days ago,
Of course, he actually laughs too, but like, yeah.
turning styrofoam into cinnamon candy came out 2 days ago.
Yeah. The chance.
Oh god, it's almost an hour.
Things too.
Mm-hmm.
Part of Bill Nye,
Essentially what he is.
and he's making different things too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Look like I think Amazon will team up with, I don't know, Hershey's or Bratches or some candy company, and we'll just say, you know what, we have a lot of these packing peanuts and a lot of these unused styrofoam containers. Turn it into cinnamon hearts.
Or turn those packing peanuts and turn them into circus peanuts. There you go.
The structure has to be like so and so, right? Like, I don't know if that's possible. Or like a circus peanut to be a packing peanut. Maybe.
Who knows?
He might figure it out. Maybe I send an email and say circus packing peanuts.
Perfect. Yeah. I don't know, like with me, I guess they're gonna make more health conscious candies. In fact, we've already kind of gotten something like that, but I think we'll probably see more and more of that on shelves as the days go by.
Funnily enough, both of our answers are kind of related.
Yeah.
Like for me, my idea is making the environment more healthy, right? Because there's not going to be as much waste in the air and in the sea and whatever, right? And then you were physically like actual healthier for consumption.
They're still similar, but you know the sentiment's there still. But
I had fun. This was fun, man.
this was a pretty fun episode to talk about. You know,
Good one.
if not all of you have at least had some type of candy listed in this episode, let's talk about like your guys' memories and what they link to, and let's talk in the comments more about the Willy Wonka experience.
Oh god.
If you haven't subscribed yet, I guess go down to the local store, find the subscribe bar on the shelf, buy it, and then subscribe right into it. But if you have a notification bell, click on that or ring on it. I don't know. But
Smash the like button.
yes, and smash the notification bell in case you miss a video.
Also, share this with people.
Share this like you share Skittles. But
Yeah, our pods are family size.
yeah, but really though, thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Crime.